Oh, hi guys. We don't know what happened, but I'm using my data, and my phone just went cook. So I don't know, and my data is not finished. I have my data. I'm still up. Thank you guys for joining. Teresa. Okay, Angel, send me a request, please. Okay, I'm gonna send everyone that I'm back up. Please share the live. I don't know what happened, but something happened. Please share the live, guys. Please. Thank you. Teresa, where are you? Teresa, where are you? Thank you guys for coming back on. Teresa, please send your request. You can't hear me either? You log out? You can log out and log back on, Kim. You could do that. Where's Teresa? Guys, I don't know what happened, but Instagram just... Yes, I'm back. Thank you, guys. We got... Okay, someone... Who is it? It's Angel. Oh, thank you. There's Angel. I do, Angel. I did. Oh, thank you.
Me to talk the truth.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Can you send a request to Teresa, please, Angel?
Remember, I don't have her on this Instagram. I have her on my appropriate Instagram.
Okay, let me see.
Wait, pass the glass.
Teresa, where are you?
Thank you.
Teresa, where are you? Oh, she just coming on. Send a request, Teresa. Teresa, please send a request again. Please share the live, everyone. You were getting into that deep story of yours, and we just got disconnected. We're going back. Teresa, please send a request. Okay, there she is. Okay, she's back now. Yeah, I just sent you a request, Teresa. Share the live, everyone, please.
Hi, guys. What happened there?
Oh my goodness. We don't know what happened.
You were frozen there for a while.
To tell the truth. The devil was saying, shut.
The devil's like, no, you're not telling your story tonight.
This is the first it ever happened.
First time. Yeah.
Never happened.
We've never had this issue.
No.
Never had it.
When I bring you guys up to the class now, they try to fight me, So it's okay. I'm used to it.
Okay, so
yeah.
we're going to continue with Angel. She was in the middle when we got disconnected. Who just came on, our guest, her name is Angel.
Yeah.
We're talking about a relationship with her 3 children, with 3 baby daddies and 5 children. So she went through abuse, verbally, physically. So you're going to hear
mentally. Yeah, everything. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Everything. So, Angel, we give you back the floor again.
Okay, Angel, pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
Where did we stop? With the Bible? No.
The Bible. Burning the Bible.
When you burnt the Bible.
He burnt it.
He burnt the Bible.
Burn the Bible. Listen.
Remember you talked
Oh yeah,
about
okay, yeah.
iron?
So then after he burned the Bible and closed the room door, within like
Okay. Could you
20
excuse
minutes,
me a minute? I'll be back.
Yes.
20 minutes to 30 minutes, he came back and he said, "Oh, you didn't burn up." And I said, "So if the house was really on fire, do you think you'd be able to come upstairs?" So I said, anyways, he didn't stop with his torturing. He was still upset. So he said, like, you need to tell me who that guy was. And I said, I already told you already that he's a business partner. And he's like, no, you walked him to the car and you kissed him. So he went in the bathroom and my kids were in the hallway because obviously they see us fighting. They're going to want to come. And he got a soda bottle and he threw it after me. But my quick reflex, I flashed up my hand and it sprayed up in the ceiling and went everywhere. And then my daughter turned to me and said, Mommy, he didn't throw juice at you. He went in the bathroom and peed in the soda bottle and he threw it at you.
One moment, please. What age was your child when she's witnessing all these abuse that's happening in the household?
She was 4.
And he did all this in front of the child?
Yeah.
Okay. He did that to your baby. He did that in front of your baby.
Mm-hmm.
How did you react?
At the time, I thought it was soda. So I snapped, we're fighting and stuff. And I normally tell them to like go in the room, but you know, your kids want to be your protector at the same time. So if they see us fighting, they're going to want to try to stop it. So my daughter jumped on the back of him and she was grabbing him and he like tossed her a little bit and told her to move. And that, I'm telling you, it still sticks in her head today.
He tossed her a little bit? A little bit he tossed her and he's angry? Because he's angry at that moment.
Yeah.
So
he flashed her off, so she dropped on the floor, but it wasn't like hard enough like where it bruised her or anything like that. It was like get off of me kind of type, and she dropped on the floor. But I'm saying like to this day, that all sits in her head. It
will, because she witnessed a fight
away when he knew what he was doing to you was wrong.
Angel, one moment. Your daughter is a victim. Your daughter is a victim right here. You witnessed a fight, and also she got hurt during the fight. You know, because she's protecting her mom.
Yeah.
She is trying to protect you. So that's hard on your daughter. Really hard.
Mm-hmm.
She's a victim in the relationship.
Yeah.
Did you get any counseling for her?
No. We just do what we always did for all those years, and we just let days pass and act like it didn't happen. You know.
How was she in school? How was she in school?
With her, she was always good. Like a straight A student. She's still like that up to today. That's why I was surprised. I was expecting like her marks to flunk. I was expecting her to probably have melts, breakdowns and stuff, but she didn't. It actually was my son. He started to do like bad things. He never had respect for girls. He would always fight the girls at school. Until I found out that his dad was telling him, like when he's playing with toys and the next kid has a toy, just punch them in the face and take the toy. And I said, you can't keep doing that because do you know what's going to happen, you know? And the teacher called me one day and she said, I need to speak to you. And I said, yeah, no problem. She said, I want to know if there's anything going on in the home. And I said, oh, why would you say that? And she's like, well, I'm noticing nature on everything that he does, he turns to violence. And I said, like, what kind of stuff is he doing? She's like, if they're playing, because that time he's in kindergarten. So if they're playing in the little play center and the child has something, you would hit them and whatever. So I was like, that's weird. Why would he just do that? Because I don't teach him that, you know? Until one day I decided to bring him to school with his father. And I seen him at the window going like this. And I'm like, what is he doing? He came back to me and he starts laughing. And I said, what are you laughing? I told him that if the child takes away any toy from him, he should punch them. So I looked at him and I'm like, you don't even know what you're doing.
He's encouraging his child. You see,
influencing toxicness in his mind.
he's encouraging the child to fight.
Yeah.
He's
So
encouraging.
still, and still to this day, he still has that behavior issues when it comes to people. And like, that's something that I've been struggling with as a single mother for so long. Like, how do I get you back to how I had you guys before I allowed this toxicness to come back? Because when I did move to that home with my children, it was just me and my children. I was already made up in my mind that I wasn't going to allow him to live in my home. And after he had his pleasures of life outside in the street, he came to the door one day with his garbage bags and he said, I don't want to come in, but I just want to talk to you. And I said, nope. And I'm talking to him from the window upstairs. And I said, nope, there's no reason for you to be here. I told you, if you're coming here, you're supposed to call me and let me know that you're coming here. And then he's like, I just want to talk to you, G, just for a second. And I said, okay, well, where's your bags? Don't put your bags on the property because your bags are not coming in. Okay, I'll leave the bags at the door. I opened the door to him and he came in and he left the bags at the door. And he's like, oh, I love you and my kids and I want to get back with you. And you know, this and that. And obviously, again, young and naive, even though you know you've been through so much and you've seen so much, it sucks to say, but you get that stupid and you get that vulnerable. And like I told you, I never came from a broken home. So I believe in the father should be there and the mother should be there. You know, even
Traditional
though,
family.
like,
Traditional
even though
family.
he did all of that, I never bashed them and I never told them, hate your father. He's so evil. I allowed them to see for themselves and learn, because that's one thing. When you tell a child to not love their father or not care for their father, they hold that as animosity against you. And time passes, they make it seem like you're the fault.
You're the bad person,
right?
And they look at you as a bad person.
Yeah.
As a bad guy. Yes.
So I said, no, I'm allowing you guys, and I know a lot of people may bash me for that and say, no, there's certain things you can't allow your kids to see. But I looked at it different. The more my children see is the more they can understand why I had to let him go. And I had to remove myself from him. And to this day, they have never asked for him. You know, and I don't say it as in with pleasure. I say it as in, so now they can heal how they're supposed to heal. Because there's one thing that I could sit down there, I could cry with them, I could try to tell them, I'm sorry that you had to experience what mommy went through. But I can't erase the memories and the thoughts that they have in their head. Sorry. 1 second.
Oh gosh,
it's tough. It is tough. It is really tough to go through that, and especially when you have children and children are seeing it and you see the effects that it has, you know, the effect that it has on your children. It's hurtful. It's very painful.
Viewers online, if you have family members,
you gotta go see my tears because
it's okay.
It's okay. You have to, you know, release, because release. It's
gotta
okay.
release it, girl. Gotta release it.
Gotta cry. It's okay. It's emotional. You went through a lot.
Of course.
That's a lot.
And you know, I'm just glad that you're here to tell your story. That is the great thing. You're here to tell that story. This is your testimony.
Cry. We could wait until you cry. It's okay. Cry as much as you want.
I wasn't supposed to get emotional. But you know,
that's how it is.
Still a situation that cuts very deep. And the reason why it cuts so deep is because my kids are the one that feel it the most. Yeah.
Right, they're the victims. I
can go through the pain and the upset and whatever, but the long-term effect is my future, and my future is my kids.
That's it. So that's it.
That replays in my head over and over again. What could I have done to stop the situation from being infection in their life? You know.
Could I ask you a question, please, Angel?
Yes, ma'am.
At the beginning, you said when you were pregnant, 5 months pregnant, the violence starts in the relationship. When you were 5 months pregnant.
When my firstborn.
With the first child.
No, right. I was 5 months pregnant when I had my son that passed away. My son ended up passing away. That's a whole next story. I didn't say that part yet. I was getting there. But
okay, let me finish my question then. Let me finish then. So all this time you're in abusive relationship, did you ever speak to someone outside of your household?
Oh yeah, my best friend. I had a couple of
Okay.
girlfriends that, you know, I would
Yes.
cry to, and they would get upset at me, and they're like, why are you staying in it? And I'm like, I don't. I'm like, it's hard to say because, like I said, I refuse to allow my child to live in a broken home because I'm not used to it. But then again, I know it sounds crazy, but you know, you're dealing with abuse. Why are you gonna want your kids to stay in that with you? You know. But then it's like, how do I put it? I moved out from my mom at 17 years old, and I went on my own. You know, and my mom said to me, you know, yeah, I know you're pregnant, but you can come back home. And I said, no. This one thing that you asked me not to do is to mess around with these boys because they will be so sweet. But what they're going to give you is going to last a lifetime. And that is a child. You know, so I'm like, this is what you tried to protect me from, mommy. For me to stay in this household and have you provide for me and my child, that you asked me to just stay focused and stay in school. And I end up sliding and doing that. I rather go out there, and I tell her every day that I thank her for not forcing me to come back home. I thank her for allowing me to stay out there in the streets and learn on my own, because then I wouldn't have been as strong as I am today.
A
I
strong
would not
woman.
know sense of directions or my independence if I was living under my mom's roof. Okay, mommy, now the baby needs Pampers and whatever. She didn't go lay down. She did not go lay down. That was the woman to tell me not to go and lay down, and I went and lay down. So how I put it is you know, in Jamaican saying, you can't hear, you will feel. So I made that be my breakfast. You know, as hard as things got.
Don't blame yourself. Do not put too much blame on yourself.
As hard as things got, I never wanted to turn back home to my mom because I'm like, I feel like I'm becoming a burden. Even though you know how moms are and your mom yourself, they want to nurture their children, even wrong or right.
All
They
right.
still want
Yes.
to nurture them.
Yes.
But I begged her to give me that right to be out there. Let me experience what I need to experience.
Yes.
I had the hard days. I had the days of sleeping on the wooden floor with just a comforter. I had the hard days of having no food in the fridge to eating chicken noodle soup every day. You know,
Ramen noodle soup. Ramen noodle
with
soup.
soda on the side. Yup.
Mm-hmm.
And some
And
days
hot
when I'm
dogs.
like, I
Remember
have to
our
drink
hot
this much
dogs?
soup now because I need my milk to come in because I
Yes.
have children to feed. You know.
Yeah, you put that hot dog in the
And
ramen soup. Mm-hmm.
my two oldest are like a year apart. So as one was growing, the next one needs to be breastfed. You know,
Yes.
and it became like a domino effect. So yeah, when I was pregnant with my son Naheem, and I say his name so proud because that's my saving grace. Even though he's not here, he's deceased. He still fills my heart like he's
Do you want to talk? Do you want to share with
I'm gonna
yourself
share.
and the
Oh
viewers?
yeah.
Do you want to
So
share? Do you feel comfortable sharing? Do you
oh
feel
yeah.
you're strong enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Don't force yourself to if you
Oh
wish not
no.
to.
I'm saying it. I'm telling my truth, boy. Don't look at me like that. So yeah, I was 5 months pregnant, like I told you, and he had this other woman pregnant at the same time. And obviously he wanted the death upon me and that child more than anything, because then he would have to explain to that other woman, how am I pregnant if he claims that me and him are not together? But I was wondering how women could be so stupid, because you were still coming and picking him up from my house almost every day. Did you really feel like that man was laying in that house and just eating chicken and rice and then going about his ways? He was sleeping with me too. So I was going to school, and so was whatever she was doing. She was hustling with him or whatever. And I protected this man for so long because every time something was going to happen to him, I dreamt it. And I would warn him. I was like his saving grace. He exchanged the angel for the devil. That's basically what he did. And I was going to Everest College at the time. I started off doing medical laboratory assistant. And I don't remember what happened, why I didn't get to finish it. I don't remember why, but for some reason I end up stopping the medical laboratory assistant, and then I end up going back again. And the time when I went back again, this time I'm pregnant with my son, which is Naheem. And I was taking the bus, and I'm like 5 months, 6 months pregnant along the way, and carrying the big textbooks across my shoulder, you know, those strap bags, and carrying it and walking to the bus stop. So one day I'm in class, and he calls me on the phone, and he's shouting at me and going off for whatever reason. Oh, I want to go on the road or whatever. Who's going to sit here and watch the kids? And I'm like, I'm at school. And the teacher's seen, like when I was in class, I always try to give my 100%. And I was falling asleep in class, and she heard me on the phone and him screaming through the phone. And she walked out in the hallway with me, and she said, listen, if you want to stay here after school for even an hour or two, because I could see it, you're trying so hard to get this degree, you know, I feel it. And I said, it's okay, because if I stay, when I get home, I'm gonna have to deal with a whole lot more.
Oh,
and
God.
she looked at me with like fear in her eyes, like, is this woman being abused or whatever? I wouldn't say anything because, you know, I had
You were
situations
protecting
where
him?
I didn't really
Excuse me, the baby's crying.
I didn't really like police and those stuff. So I'm like, I'm not gonna call no police or anything, because back then it was like, you know, you just don't do that. You know, I know what I was going through.
I know there's a stick.
Like,
There's
you can't do that. So, you know, I held mine.
you can't call the sorry, Angel.
Yeah.
I remember when that's the thing. That's one of the mistakes that I see happening in the Black communities.
Mm-hmm.
They think that it's accepted relationships when there are abuse, and if you call upon help, they think that you're a snitch.
Hmm.
That's the thing in our Black community, right? When Black women are being abused, they have fear of being called a snitch. If they do call 911, you're a snitch.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, and he's in jail, the friends will call you and torment you on the phone.
And the family, you're so wicked.
And the family is on this side. The friends are here and the families are here. So you, the woman in the middle, you don't have nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you're pressured.
Yeah.
So that's the problem in the Black community. Why you see so many women? That's one of the reasons, one of the factors is why so many women are in abusive relationship, because the pressure that they will get when they call 911 to put their baby father in jail. That pressure is coming from the friends, and that pressure is coming from the family. So what can we get done? What can be done to protect women in abusive relationship?
Mm-hmm. That's a very hard question to answer, because it's coming from somebody that's sitting there and stayed in it for a very long time. You know, I've been with this person for 17 years.
You can't do nothing because you're scared. You're scared of your life. Also, because sometimes the friends can be very vicious. Sometimes the family members can be very vicious. So you're in the middle. You don't know what to do.
And the thing is, the mental stress, the depression, and all of that is just as dangerous as the person actually touching you. Because when you go through that mental state of mind that you did something wrong, knowing that you're the one that got affected and you're the one that's feeling the damage, and it starts eating you up inside, that alone can kill you. And you know stress kills, right?
So after the baby, you're talking about the death of the baby now. So
yeah,
what happened?
I was at school and I was supposed to be doing my final exam to get my degree for medical laboratory assistant. And I remember I had like about 2 more pages left on the exam to do. And the teacher looked at me and he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm feeling like kind of tightness in my stomach." And they're like, "Oh, we don't want you to give birth in school now. You should go." So I said, "All right, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go home." And I remember walking to the bus stop, and then I called my mom on the phone. She's like, don't take the bus, go into a taxi, you know, and start praying over your stomach. And I went in the taxi, and I say this because only a mother, a woman that has carried a child before, will understand that feeling. It's like I already knew he passed because I just felt it. I felt like this energy just came off of me, and I just gave up, and I'm like, it is what it is. It's like my body already came to realization that the baby's gone. I didn't need no doctor to tell me. My body had already felt it.
You felt like the life left you, eh?
Oh
Yeah.
God. That's sad.
I took the taxi and I went home, and I was there for a while. I'm like, oh, the pain went away, and I went and had a warm shower. And he came home and he asked me, what do you want to eat? And I said, pizza. And he brought the pizza to me, and I had one bite of the pizza, and the pain started to take me on. And I'm like, I think I'm in labor. I'm in labor. He didn't comfort me. He didn't nurture me. He didn't rub my back. You know how a normal man would be like, okay, my woman is in labor. Let me get this and this and that. He sat there at the end of the bed, staring off in like the middle of space. And in my mind, I was like, you know what you and your mom did. You guys know exactly what you guys did. You remember, you kept teaching me and letting me know that you've been wishing death upon me and this baby, you know. And when they're arguing, and I felt like turning in my stomach, like my stomach starting to get tighter. So I went in the shower and I started to run the warm water on my back or whatever. And I noticed the contractions started to get strong. And I said, okay, I have to go to the hospital. Again, he never held my hand. He never did nothing. His cousin was there, and his cousin's like, you need to go with her. She's in labor. And again, he's zoned out. And I know in his head, he's just like, I hope it's dead. I hope it's dead. I hope it's dead. That's all he's saying in his head. I could already see by looking at him that he had my son's blood all over his hands. So how this death happened, I won't go in detail on that on live, but they know what they did. And we took, his cousin came with us, and we took the cab. And when I sat down in the cab, it felt like I was already sitting on the baby's head.
Oh.
I felt him like down there. So you know that he's already deceased, so he's sitting down there, right? And I reached to the hospital, and it's like I just knew. I just knew when I came up to the counter, and the woman's like, oh, what brings you guys here? And I'm like, I'm in labor. And she's like, you're in labor, but you seem like so laid back. I'm like, yeah, I'm in labor, but I know what I'm going to see. And I know that woman at that front desk probably up to this day was just like, wow, she already knew that baby was gone. And they brought me upstairs to the birthing unit. And then they sat me down to ask me questions again. Ma'am, why are you here? And I said, I am in labor. I'm in labor. And they said, all right. And they told me to go in the waiting room with him and his cousin. And his cousin stood there and held my hand. And he's like, you should be over here holding her hand and stuff like that. He's like, oh, you know, I don't like hospitals. The whole time is because he knew I was going to give birth to a dead baby. So the nurse calls me in, and she goes, okay, I need you to undress and put this gown on. And I put the gown on, and I said, up to now, I don't feel no movement from my son. So I already know. And they started to hook me up to the machine and put, you know, they checked the heartbeat. They started to put it on my stomach. And she's like, oh, I'm trying to get the heartbeat, but because he's moving, we can't hear the heartbeat. So I'm like, oh, so I started to get a little excited again, like, oh, okay, that's weird. And then she's like, I'm sorry, I'm not able to get it. I'm gonna go call the doctor. The doctor came and tried to get it, and he couldn't get it. And he's like, he sent one of the nurses to get the ultrasound. There's an ultrasound that you could like just pull into the room.
Yeah.
And he looked, and he's like, did you fall? Did something happen to you? And I said, no. He goes, well, I'm so sorry. There's no heartbeat. And he showed me the baby's stomach on the screen.
Wow.
And he looked in my face and said, "That's what you get for calling people's girl child a bitch." And I said,
Wow.
"What? The girl that I call a bitch that you got pregnant?"
What?
And he stood there for like about 5 minutes, and he left the hospital. And his cousin stayed there with me, and he's like, "I can't believe, like, this is what this guy did. I can't believe it." And he's there looking at me. He's like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "No, it's good." And I laid there in the hospital bed just for them to say, "I'm going to send you for a next ultrasound." Like, how much times do you have to hear that your child's dead? And they sent me down for a next ultrasound, and I called like my family, my mom and my sisters, and everybody came to the hospital. And they're like, "So where is he?" And I said, "He's where he should have been." And they're looking at me like, "What's going on?" I'm like, the baby's gone." And they're like, "No, we're going to bring you down for an ultrasound just to make sure so we could pronounce him deceased." And I went in labor for 30 hours.
Wow. Yeah, 30 hours
30
labor. Wow.
hours?
30
I'll never
hours.
forget that day. 30 hours I was in labor for. And they didn't give me no pain medicine or nothing. And they said, "We want you to pass this baby naturally."
Jesus Christ.
And I said, my mom's like, "Just pray that it's not true." And I'm like, "Mommy, I already felt him leave me. I know he's gone. But what did I deserve to be in pain for 30 hours knowing that I'm going to give birth to something that's not real? It's not here." And I remember pushing him out, and my eyes are closed the whole time. I couldn't even tell you what my nurses look like. I kept my eyes closed the whole time. And after they said push, after the 30 hours was over, and my placenta came out in pieces. So when he came out now, I heard my mom scream, and she sunk her nails in my skin. Up to now, I still haven't opened my eyes. And once she did that, I knew. And she's like, he's unwrapping the umbilical cord from around his neck. They choked the life out of my son. The umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck twice. And when they gave him to me, his mouth was laying out, his tongue was laying out of his head. You know, when
He choked to death.
His mouth to eat.
Choked to death. His tongue was hanging out. Yeah. He choked. Yeah.
And
the cord choked him. Yeah.
I said, "Okay." They asked me so much questions. They said, "Ma'am, if you were in labor for at least 30 minutes more, you would have been dead." And I said, "That's what the devil wanted, didn't he?" But God always.
He always delivers. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I said, "All right."
My condolences.
You know?
I have to say my condolences.
Sorry?
I said my condolences from the Nadine show and our guests.
Thank you.
Our condolences to you.
My brother came over and he tried to make me laugh because he was supposed to be the godfather. And he's like, "Why are you crying? He's just sleeping. You know, his eyes are just closed for now. He's going to wake up just now." You know, trying to make a joke, but I was so numb. And I remember one of the nurses coming in and saying, "Who wants to take the paperwork? You can cremate him." They start talking about what kind of cremation I wanted to do or if I wanted to bury him. I'm like, "Listen, it hasn't even been 20 minutes since I pushed this baby out, and this is what you guys are going to come to me with." What I mean, I can never forget that day. And they took him away and they covered over the like bassinet thing that they put them in. And I remember all the nurses coming to my door whispering with each other. And I'm like, I'm not accepting of it. I'm not going to accept it, you know. And I ended up going home. They sent me home the same day. The nurse kept telling me to get up and go to the bathroom. And my mom said, "Are you crazy? She can't get up. You know how much blood she just lost? You guys just said to her if she was in labor for 30 more minutes, she would have been dead. And you're telling her to get up out of the bed and go to bed. Well, ma'am, we have to make sure she goes to the bathroom so that she doesn't clot." And I remember walking into the bathroom, and if my mom wasn't there, I would have dropped right there on the washroom floor and bust my head open.
Oh, God. You went through a lot.
She said, it's okay. I said, oh, what you're going to do? You're going to pray, aren't you? And I said, I will never stop praying. I said, all right. I ended up going home that day or whatever, and they're like, you have to go through counseling. And I didn't take the counseling. I ended up cremating my son, and I put his ashes in a teddy bear. And every morning I would wake up and fold his clothes. That was my healing. And I would put a Pampers on the teddy bear like if it was him. I couldn't accept it. I was still in the denial that my son is gone, you know. And going home to my 2 kids asking, where's their brother? And they gave me a little DVD from the funeral home to play for them. It was like a little Cookie Monster and Elmo explaining death of somebody passing. And I remember playing it for them over and over, and they still couldn't understand. The thing is, it hurt my firstborn the most because he died the day before her birthday. So the next day was her birthday.
Wow.
So she sits with that in her heart. She says it all the time.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That is.
And I always tell her, if I could turn back the hands of time, your father would have never been your father. But it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
God makes everything happen for a reason, you know. So I let it be. And when I came back from the funeral home, he left and went to the other woman's house that he got pregnant. And he was there with her. I think he slept there, and he came back the next day on Nala's birthday. And I think his cousin, I said to his cousin, like, they have to sign the death certificate. Like, he's supposed to come and sign the death certificate. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not signing it. My cousin will come and sign for me. Because you knew the evil that you did. So you still, up to now, where's the remorse? Up to now,
no remorse. Absolutely. And that was his child. Wow.
Right? So I said, all right.
Cold. He's cold.
Very much. Oh.
We got in an argument that day, and he said, well, at least this woman is having my child, and your womb is rotten because you couldn't even carry my son. Knowing that his mother is the reason why the child is not here. But I couldn't carry the child.
Could I ask you a question, please?
Yeah.
Before you could go, was he insane? Was he on some form of drugs, street drugs or something? I'm not making an excuse, but I'm just asking for someone that doesn't have a heart. He says cruel stuff to you. He acts cruel to you.
Yes.
What was wrong with him?
Wow.
Was he abused by his parents?
Not that I know of. In his growing up, I feel like he became a man before he became a boy. Or tried to become a man before he was a boy.
A man before he was finished being a boy. Okay.
Something is missing from his life. Something went wrong somewhere.
Somebody cannot be that evil. Just like that.
Yes, something went wrong.
He's like a narcissist.
No,
he's more than a narcissist. It's worse.
He said to me he worships the devil and he believes in death before dishonor. Yeah. That was
you are a strong woman.
You know?
You are very strong to be in a relationship with someone
and put up with that so long.
You
so
are
long. Not me. I'm sorry.
I'll be out that door.
And that's the problem. When I tell this story, you know, enough people will be like, you tell this story like, you know, you're okay. And I'm like, I have to be okay. If I'm not okay, how would my kids ever get
How are your children going to be okay?
I've partnered with this person over 7 years now. So, you know, it's like, I feel like I went through all those things that I've went through to make me the woman I am today, you know? And
your mom, and your mom's support, and your mother's support.
Yes. And my family, my loved ones, you know, that always there for me, you know. There's this one special woman, but I'm not going to say the name. But yeah, they've been my rock for a long time, you know. My kids still struggle with the loss, even though it's been how much years. My son Naheem would have been how old now? About 10 years old now. He would probably be
10. Yeah. Wow.
He was born in 2012, so he would have been about 10 years old now. So it always lingers. What if he was here?
Is so another beautiful child? Another beautiful child in the house. That's it. Yeah. Another beautiful child.
And they're all beautiful.
And after I lost that one, God blessed me with 3 more. So the devil is a liar. And I said, all right, I have to come to the acceptance of this or whatever. So after I went through all that trauma with him, I said, I'm going to leave you right where you're at, and God will deal with you according to. And I left it right there.
So how did the relationship, the way he treats you, I know marriage is off the table right there. Marriage will be off the table if he had decided to say, I'm going to marry you. I don't know, that would be off the table.
That's what's going to shock you. So when I thought that they were done with me, they weren't done with me. Okay. They did their little arts and crafts that they needed to do, you know.
Hold on. Yeah. Arts and crafts?
They did their arts and crafts. I ain't going to say nothing on you. I told you there's certain things that I'm just not going to say, but if you know what I mean by arts and crafts. And
yes, I do.
Unbelievable.
Try to take my life.
Unbelievable.
And I end up going back home. And I was supposed to marry him. That was what they wanted, for me to marry this man that literally tried to take my life and my child's life, but literally took my child's life.
Can I ask you a question? Please. Yeah. Can I ask you this? Sorry to interject. He treats you, he abuses you. Hold on. He abuses you. He wishes the baby to die. He was not there to comfort you. He doesn't do nothing to say that he was in a relationship with you. So why would the family want you to marry him? Is it for papers or what?
This family.
He can come back up here. That's exactly what it was. So he could come back. And so he can come back and finish me off. The exact word. And that was told to me from a lot of people, very dear and close to himself. So I did that. I remember getting up that day. I didn't pay for my own ticket, nothing. All I was supposed to do is get my kids ready that day and go to the airport. You know.
And to go where?
Back home.
To Jamaica.
To Jamaica? For what?
To marry him.
To marry him.
Hold on. So, wait. How did he reach in Jamaica? What happened? Why was he? Girl, this is a story. This is an unwind story. How did he reach in Jamaica?
I missed out that part. So, the other woman that he got pregnant, he ended up getting charged with a lot of offenses, and he did a couple of jail time, and they deported him. And when they deported him, they said, you're the one that has all the children, so you're the one that has to save him. Either you want to or not, you're supposed to save him. And may I say, to save someone that literally ripped my heart and soul out of me and fed it to me. But I was supposed to still go back and help this person. And I said, back then, I didn't know my Bible is good, because I used to think that they said, even though people do you wicked, you should still do good to them. And God is still going to bless you. And I said, well, I don't want nothing to do with him. But if it's for the sake of my children to have a father, then I guess I will try. I got phone calls. I got the text messages. I got the like every day the kids used to say to me, Mommy, I don't even want to go home. You know, the toxicness that I had to deal with consistently. Like, so what if I don't want to help him? What's gonna happen? My family's gonna come and knock on the door one day, and I'm just dead, and nobody knows that it's probably a natural cause. And remember, doctors, lawyers, police officers, judges will never understand that part of the world, you know. So I said, all right, let me go. In the midst of all of the service that's supposed to happen, I was already getting warnings. People were calling me from all over, and they're like, don't do it, because if you only knew what was planned, you know. So I said, okay, I'm gonna play the same game, you know. And I went and I acted like everything. I told myself I'm not gonna get married until I get baptized. So I remember the day before the wedding, I went and got baptized. Nobody wanted to come with me, so I brought my daughter. And I went and got baptized. And I remember the man of God said to me, I see something in the spirit that's supposed to happen. And I don't too really like it, but it's up to you. You have to make the decision because I'm getting paid for what I'm doing. And I looked at him and I'm like, now that started to make me wonder, can I trust any man of God again? Because of how you a man of God, but you're telling me, do what you want to do because you can't tell me what to do. When right there and then you should have said, baby girl, run with every beats of your heart that you can. You take your kids, even if you have to run to a damn dead end for someone to pick you up for you to be free, you do that. But no, I'm going to watch you drown yourself. And I'm just going to say that I warned you, so hopefully you were able to get yourself out of it. So I said, okay, I'm going to fly back home because it was my choice if I want to put the papers through or don't put the papers through. And I decided not to put the papers through because I ain't no idiot. And even though I didn't put it through, they still went behind my back and paid that man to put the papers through on the other side. And still to this day, they're trying to tell me, no, you agreed to. No, I didn't. You gave me the, what do you want to call it, the choice. You can put it through or we can put it through. And I said, no, I will do it. And I said I would do it because I knew what I was going to do. That was my escape. And you knew that I wasn't going to do it, so you guys went back and paid the man for him to do it on the other side. Huh. But while people are planning, God is wiping. So that happened, you know. The situation happened. And I thought that the evilness was done. It wasn't done. Because here I am marrying this man with another baby in my stomach. And that is my beautiful, handsome prince. Oh, I bless him and I place my hands on him every day. And he's my saving grace. My son that's born with heart disease, you know, when they tried to remove, they removed one, but they didn't have enough. So the wicked wanted to remove my second one. But because I had family and loved ones praying over my stomach and praying over me, they didn't win. Almost doesn't count. My son was born with 2 holes in his heart, his organs on the opposite side, his heart in the middle of his chest, so it's not where everyone else's heart is. He was born not being able to go to the bathroom. There was so much things that the evil tried to remove that little boy from me. And God said, not this time. He still struggles with the fact of going through surgeries and stuff like that. But like I said, that's my angel, that's my saving grace. And because of him is the other reason why I have no problem telling my story. Because the stuff that they did didn't have a reason. If a woman cheats, which I did not cheat, but I'm just saying, if a woman cheats, you have every right to walk away from that relationship and move on with your life. If you get a woman pregnated and you don't want to be with that woman anymore, you have every right to walk away and move on with your life. None of us were born together. We were never bound together. God never said, if you breed this girl, you have to stay with her permanently. We do these stuff by choice. If you walked away, I wouldn't sit down there and say, oh, your dad is a deadbeat and your dad is wicked and your dad. I would never do that. I would allow that child to grow and see for himself if his father is actually a person or a factor in his life. I don't believe in feeding kids negative energy.
Yeah, that's so true.
Exchange negative with negative or evil with evil. You will never succeed.
You need a healthy relationship. You need a healthy relationship.
Yep.
Mutual. Yeah, it's mutual. You know, no one's fighting, and for the best for your child's sake.
So that was my, I wouldn't even say that was my yesterday. That was my sorry for, and I don't even look back over there. I turn my head sideways and say, yeah, you see me, and I keep it moving. I don't let that trouble me. Yeah, I shed that tears today because it still weighs heavy on my heart. And
it's memories.
Yes.
Any person that carries a child, or any father even that has had a child and lost their child in any kind of circumstances, nobody loses a child. And it's not something,
that pain,
you know,
unbearable.
So, how old is your child? The one that's born with the heart?
He's 6.
He's
6. Oh, he's a baby. Okay.
Big man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call him
But
Mr. President.
Can he speak?
Oh yeah.
How does he function? How does he function?
He does everything normal.
How God is so good that you will look at him, and me telling you his condition, you'll be like, yeah, right. Where? How? I don't think so. You would never know until you tell him to lift up his clothes and you see all the wounds, you know, of the situation. So yeah, welcome to single motherhood. You know.
Yes.
Nobody
and that's just the first
for a relationship not to last. You actually go into that relationship, and I'm a Libra. So I love like whole, and everyone knows, any person that actually knows me know, when I love hard. And I give more than I take. So to be in a relationship with somebody and I'm like, I'm trying to find ways why you did me so evil, and I still don't have an answer, it disturbs me. And it disturbs me because my kids to this day want an answer, which I cannot give them because I don't even know why, you know. But I call it a life lesson, and I tell my girls every day, use me as an example. Where the generation curse needs to stop right here. Mommy, that's not for me. I don't want that. I want them to see the danger in accepting.
You have to.
You know,
because you don't want them to live the life that you passed. Yeah. That's not healthy.
Instill that in them all the time, that they need to know that what I went through was not normal. What I went through was not acceptable. You know?
So he went back to his homeland.
Oh, she's freezing.
And while he's there, you went down and you married him. So did you got a divorce when you came up? Did he came back up or what? How did it work? Did he came back to Canada?
No, he's still down there. Well, if he ever does, that will never be by my works. Will never be by my works. No. So I rather cut every single ties.
So because he got deported, that's how the relationship between you and he started to drift apart.
Oh no. From I lost my son. That's how it's been, because he ended up getting locked up. So I cut it right there. I was
okay. So thank you for sharing your amazing story. So it's such a heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking to know that a because you were 17, when you first got pregnant, so it's teenager pregnancy, and you're being so strong. You've been through a lot. I have to applaud you for standing up strong, because many women who would be in your situation would commit suicide. Yes. Some women turned violent and killed their baby daddy because of pressure.
Well, so I had my share on that. Like when I just had my firstborn, which I obviously cut out a lot of stuff because there's too much, and
the time
I'll be on here for hours. But I did like take a whole bottle of iron pills because I wanted to just call it a day, you know. And I remember him coming home that day, and he's like, what's wrong with you or whatever? What's your problem or whatever? And I was just like out of it. He didn't know that I was drugged up, and he looked in the bathroom and seen that I swallowed all of the pills. He still wanted to sleep with me, knowing that I'm like out of it. I just took a whole bunch of bottles of pills and he didn't care. And I was like refraining him from it. And he said, oh, so while I was gone, you were sleeping with somebody. You let somebody in the apartment.
Oh my
Sick
God.
mind of thinking. So he said,
Oh
okay,
my goodness.
you want to leave? So I said, like, I'm over this stuff. I want to leave. He goes, you want to leave? This is the only way you're going to leave. And he was dragging me to the balcony. So I'm like, I'm hanging over the balcony a little bit because he's like choking me. And I use my foot to like climb up in his chest. And I'm like, if I'm going, so are you. And so how I wrapped my legs around him, both of us would have to go over the balcony. So he's like, are you gonna do it or not?
Where were the children? Where were the babies?
That time I only had my firstborn, my daughter.
Oh.
Where was she?
That time she was a baby, so she was in the other room. Sleeping.
So that guy won his daughter to be without a mom at such a tender age?
That's why I say he's a sick man. He's a very sick man. Very, very sick.
Yeah. I always
very
sick.
sick.
What went through his head, I don't know.
No.
But
very sick. That's a sick individual. He needs to stay exactly where he's at. I'm sorry.
People these stories, they're like, no, that's a lie. That's impossible. I'm like,
that's
no reason for me to lie. Who wants to come on a professional or a platform like this where people watch all over the world to just sit there and tell a lie? I have no time to tell a lie.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
Sitting here bashing him.
No.
I wish him the best. May God save him in the sick mind that he has. But that was my life, and that was the story, and that's why I said to my aunt, and I tell my kids all the time, each one of my children tell a story of my life, good or bad. You know. Now
that we spoke about the first one, sorry to interject you. Now that we spoke about the first one, you want to talk about the other two?
Well, the other two, they're great. They're great. I haven't experienced that with them, honestly.
Sorry, that was my nephew.
My last baby.
I said sorry. No, I said sorry. That was my nephew in the kitchen.
My
last baby father, he had his own issues. We grew apart. But I can't lie. He was loving. I didn't experience that kind of sickness that was with my first baby father. You know, we haven't come to comfort zones for him to actually be a part of my child's life right now. But, you know, in time, God heals all things. You know, you never know what will happen. I just
so
the best.
Your second baby father, he embraces your son as his own child? Does he actually? Yes.
Which one? My middle baby father?
Yeah. Because remember, the first one got deported. So you have another boyfriend that you have a child with, right?
And then I have my last baby father.
Right. So the middle one, the middle baby daddy, how did he embrace the first sets of children that you had?
The first two. At that time, it was just two of them. So he was like what any real man would do. If you love the mother, you love the children, and he showed that. He comforted them. He was loving to them. I never had violent situations with him pertaining to my kids. Again, he was another one. We just grew apart. We had our own differences, you know, where maybe we were lusting in the beginning and thought that we were in love, and a beautiful blessing came out of it. But we just grew apart. And the same.
And the third one? And your third baby daddy? The third baby daddy, how about him?
The third one, we just grew apart.
So hold on, listen.
We grew apart.
The first one was abusive. He gotta go. We know.
He is not even worth.
He gotta go.
But
the second and the third children father, were you the one who break up those relationships, or they walk away from you?
All three of them I walked away from. And I walked away from them because I felt like my first relationship was my most trauma, my most damage.
Yes.
So when I started to notice certain things like arguments and stuff like that, that started to make me think about what I just been from. It started to make me feel like, how long are you going to stay in this for? You know, obviously every relationship has its good time and it has its bad time, but we weren't able to make it work. You know, it just. I know that there's things in the picture like try for the kids, but sometimes when you try for the kids, and I stayed in that relationship, the first one, for so long because I wanted my kids to say, yes, I'm waking up and seeing mommy and daddy.
Have a stable home.
In the bigger picture and breaking me down mentally, and the kids I'm seeing so much, that was more important to me, that had to go. So to go and experience that again just because I want my kids to see a whole home instead of a broken home, I'd rather not. You know family. And you act quickly before it's too late.
Yeah. And but do they ask for their fathers? Your children?
No.
Especially the two first ones, the two older ones.
No, that's the joke.
Like the third one's father is in her life.
When there and they started to tell me how much they felt uncomfortable around him and stuff like that, they've never asked me for that for him. And that's the funny part. People would say, "Oh, you probably said to them like you should hate him. He's this." And I said, "No, they could tell you themselves. I have never instilled that in my kids. They had their own feelings towards him, why they didn't care to have him around. Which child do you know that really loves their mother and see that their mom is trying and doing good, and a man turns around and ill treats the mother without a cause that the child won't even understand, and that's that you're the reason why the child doesn't love me? No, you painted that picture yourself, because the damage that you did in the past, I still brought your children to you. I still gave you chances to be a father to these children. And you decided your pleasures of life was more important. So how dare I swallow my pride and say, kids, we're going to do it all over again, knowing that it's breaking me? Now I'm not normal for no other man out there. And I have to be honest. And every man that passes my way, it's like walking into the lion's den. No, I'm not going to be evil to them, you know, that I don't have that in me. I'm so loving, but I will never trust. And it's something to say, but I will never trust. I will say, yeah, I love you. Oh, yeah, we can go on dates. You know, I kiss you here and there, you know, but deep down inside of me, you can tell me you're going to the corner store and I'm telling you you're lying.
That trust is not there.
That you went to the corner store and I'll still tell you you're lying. That trust has damaged me.
You lost it. It's all gone.
It's like, that's it. And that's one thing I must say. A lot of guys say, oh, you're so bitter. You know, they'll see a woman out there and they'll be like, why is she stripping? Or why is she doing that? You don't know. You see people as themselves. You don't know what that person has been through, why they are the way that they are, why they're so mischievous, why they're so untrustworthy, or why do they say, oh, I don't want nothing? If you as a woman say, I don't want no man, then they say you're a lesbian.
I agree with you.
If you say, oh, I want to just stay by myself, you rather play with the dildo. You know,
you have to take care of you. You have to take care of you.
Yeah, then that's it. How are you going to survive?
Right. So you don't need to worry what people got to say. Right? You have to take care of you. First, you have your children. You're the one that is suffering. You're the one that's feeling that pain internally. You're the one that crying silently at night.
And I can honestly say, you know, and I don't say it with pride, but I can honestly say that trauma and that damage that I went through, up to this day, I don't believe that I have loved my children the way that they're supposed to be loved. And I can be honest about that as a mother. I will buy them things. I will smother them with love. They'll sit down and watch movies. I'll tell them that I love them. But to me, that's not enough. To me, those broken pieces that I wish that I could fix, but I know it's going to take time for them to heal from on their own.
Think about healing. Angie,
Mhm.
think about healing. Think about the process of healing. Because when you heal, you will help your children to heal.
Yeah.
That's the because
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you need to focus on. The
And you know
healing
what?
process.
It's true. And you're gonna need professional help to do that.
You have to.
Really and truly.
Yes. You can't do it on your own.
No, no way. No way. No
No,
way.
I'm sorry to say, but my opinion, I'm not a specialist,
Mhm.
but the story that you're laying out right now, I know the psychology will agree with us. You need help.
Yeah. Honestly, you need
You need
you
help.
gotta get professional help.
Yes, you need a professional help. You do need. No joke, Angel. No joke, Angel. You do need.
Yep.
Well,
Yes.
you're in a good
Because
place now anyway. You're
yes,
in a good place now
Oh yeah.
and
because God has
and
been good.
Oh
God
yeah.
yes,
has been good to you and you're in a
because
good
Yeah.
place now.
not
Yeah.
sorry, not only you that need help. I tell you, boss, not only you that need help, but also your daughter, especially your daughter.
Mhm.
She needs it. Please, if you could get help for her, that would be so great for your daughter. Because remember, sometimes children, you are a mother. Sometimes they want to express themselves, but the way how they were expressed with a stranger, they will not express to you as a parent.
Yeah. That's true.
You see what I'm saying? So just give, if you could give her that opportunity that she can speak to someone professional,
Hmm.
Definitely. It'll
that
be
will help
very
her.
beneficial for her.
Yes,
Very much
she
so.
needs someone professional to help her.
Yeah.
You don't want her to grow up with these feelings
Hmm.
that she
Yes,
has right now and her
yes,
outlook on relationship. You don't want
right.
to grow up with that outlook.
No.
So
Yeah.
you got
She's
to get her
alone
help
with
now.
her. She's carrying, she's this burden. It's very heavy. She's carrying this burden on her.
That's true.
Yeah. If you could help her, this anyone online who's a psychologist, you need your help over here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
she need it.
It is
So what do you
mandatory that
feel?
she gets the help. Yeah.
Yes.
Any more
Clear
But
her
questions for
thought and
me?
put things into perspective.
but what about you now? What other did you never use no other supportive mechanism other than your mother?
Pray. Pray.
And
When you're at
prayers, yes,
pray.
prayers. Those two. I'm gonna ask you something outside of the relationship though. Financially, how did you survive? Knowing that you're going to school, the baby father were abusive to you, and you have children. How did you survive?
The baby father was abusive. The one baby father that was abusive. Yeah. Um, I was still working. That's the thing. I was when I
Mhm.
was going to college and leaving and coming home in the nighttime. I would in the evening after school. I would leave and go to my customer service position. If I'm not there, I'm working at a warehouse. If I'm not there, like I got my degree as a PSW. I end up going back to school and getting
Hi,
my
Nicola.
diploma for being a personal support worker. So I've been blessed. I have been the financial person in the relationship. You know, they never got me broken where I didn't have my financial. That's one thing that I always make sure of. If you can break the children, you got to know that they come with responsibility, and your child should never be hungry and never be in need. So I always made sure that I had that. Sometimes I had to lie and say I didn't have it because if they know that you have it, then they don't want to do their part. And I'm sorry to say some men are like that. When they know that you can carry everything on your own, they don't want to do their part.
They don't want to
So
help
They
you.
don't want to be a part.
Mm.
Yes. And
yeah.
So
those
you were
men,
the money in the relationship.
Oh yeah.
those men are weak.
Yeah.
They're weak. That's what I would consider them to be weak. They're
Weak.
not mean. They're very
Scary.
weak. Literally, they're weak.
They don't carry their own. They do not carry their own.
They're
And I
not a
must
man.
say, with with my middle child's father and my last child's father, they worked, they did their part when they need to do their part.
It's just number one.
But number one,
guys, you know what happened too? Not only that they're weak, but you see some of these guys. No, we're not talking about. I'm describing a guy because of his race or culture, just men. Some of these men, doesn't matter what race, gender, whatever, culture. If his parent doesn't like you, that child is going to suffer.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes the guys, they want to take care of their child, but the mom or the sisters or the aunt, oh, that's not your child. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. Don't take care of the child. Keep your money. So sometimes they are pressured too. Especially if the parents doesn't like you, or his sister or whatever, some member of his family doesn't like you, your child will be suffering. It does happen.
So, Angel, let me ask you: was there ever any hesitant or any hesitation that the children were his? I'm talking about number one.
No.
Was there ever a saying to say that the children weren't his? Did he ever say that?
Out with the coolie, the way you all call it. They all came out with the coolie.
Just like him. So he couldn't deny it.
It's not the knock knee, it's the foot. And if it's not the foot, it's the ear. And the ear can't hide. It is different.
Okay, so you didn't need that DNA.
Oh,
no DNA.
No.
Didn't need to, eh?
The DNA would have been if he's normal and if I was human. To be that's about it. That would be the DNA. But no, they were, and that's one thing I don't know. If you lay with me and I find out that, okay, yes, I'm pregnant, I'm telling you off the bat, because I like watching Maury Pori, but I don't want to be on that platform. No, you're not the baby father.
Who's the baby daddy?
Because I knew that I was with Paul and Steve and no.
Yeah. But Angel, can I ask you this one question?
Yeah.
You talk about the baby father, drama and everything.
Yeah.
And they didn't play that strongly role as being a father in the household. Mm-hmm. So you were playing both roles, the mom and the dad. Mm-hmm. Financially, and playing the mother role, preparing meals, taking the kids to school, daycare, everything. Mm-hmm. How did you cope with so many things? How did you cope?
Like I was saying earlier, it's all about balance and having order. So like I said, like I would have my days where, like, especially with my son and his heart condition, I had such good job opportunities that didn't last that long because he was more important. And I would have to go to the hospital sometimes 4 times in 1 month, sometimes 3 times in 1 week. And some of the jobs were like, you know how some jobs are, would be like, oh, that's fine. Go deal with family situations. And once you're done with your family situation, you can come back and this job will be here open to you. Well, that's a lie. Because when you go back, they say someone else has already filled your place. So I had to deal with a lot of fill me up, break me down, fill me up, break me down, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there. I have children to provide for, and you're not going to sit there, money's going to fly to you. Yes, you can be a little and sit down there and take the money from the government and live off of it. But then as a woman, and I'm not bashing no woman or man, but as a woman in the way that I am, I have to go up for mine. I don't feel fulfilled by sitting down and just getting it coming to me. I like the fact of going out there because the occupation that I have is a personal
support. Say the word, welfare checks. Say the word.
Okay, you want to collect the welfare checks and sit down.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not bashing y'all. You can do so, but at the end of the day, if you know you're worth so much more, why? If I know I sat down and I owe the government so much in OSAP to just sit down and take welfare checks, so what was the point of paying that $45,000 diploma?
Angel, it's not taking the money is the issue.
Okay.
What are you doing with your life when you're getting that money. That's the problem.
It. Sit on your behind.
You
sit on your behind and do nothing.
You get assistance from the government. Take that opportunity and go to school. You could go to college.
Yeah, do something. Yeah.
Go to university. Right? Help yourself.
No, but I mean, like, for example, you're living in a house or apartment. That apartment costs $1,300. You can't afford that because you know you're not working. But if you apply for the welfare now, they're gonna cover your home expenses of you keeping the shelter over your head. Oh, sorry, manas. Keeping the shelter over your head. But then you have this diploma that you're sitting on. Why not put it to use? Because at the end of the day, you still owe that government all that money. It's not going to disappear. So, makes sense to it. I believe in you killed yourself to get that diploma. Kill yourself off to continue receiving what you went out there to get. I like, there's people that will just say, you know what, no, it's just not working for me. I don't believe in that. I believe in, if I sit down here, and honestly, this COVID has strained me so much. Not only relationship-wise, because I believe if I didn't have like the whole COVID situation, my relationship in the past would have lasted. But it strains you a lot as a single mother or a family with a mother and father, or a single father, because you need to make ends meet, but then you go to the job and the job tells you you're only going to work 3 days out of the week today. Oh, because of COVID, we short of staff, or we don't need all of you guys to come to work because they can't afford to pay all of you. So this is what we're going to do. So it's a struggle regardless, but it's what you do with that struggle. And I don't, honestly, and I'm not bragging, but God has been so good. I have such great family that surround me, and friends that have surrounded me in these trial times that I've been through. Times when I need them to watch the kids for a second because I need to do a whole woosah, or I need to get back on my grind and go to work. Like, I have my days, and then there's some days that I miss my kids so much because I'm like, I've been at home with them for so long, but because I'm so used to it now, I'm consumed to always being at home with them. And that also can become like a dangerous thing, because then you get comfortable with just being laid back. And once you become comfortable with laid back, that's when everything starts passing you, and you're like, how did I make this
opportunities? Yes.
You have to keep yourself
That's true.
activated.
Yes. Got to get out there.
And just like your platform that you have, like, God bless you for this.
Thank you.
This has you doing a whole next thing. I don't know your situation, if you had to stop whatever you're doing over there in order to do this, but at least you find every kind of comfort in the sense of you're not just staying there and being at standstill. You're consistently.
I did my platform because what happened, I was in university, so people are pushing me, Nadine, why don't you just have a platform? We could just come talk and whatever. So I'm like, okay. But guys, I'm very busy. I'm studying, I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm traveling. So I said, okay. And then during the COVID break that we took, people are still calling me up, Nadine, why don't you keep the show? So I said, okay. So I've been pushed by the audience. Yeah, they keep pushing me. We just like your platform, just simply, real life situations. So people like to hear our stories. So that's why I'm so happy that you came on. It's very interesting story.
That crazy one that came on the show. You remember her? Her name was Angel.
No one can say that. No, Angel. No. We don't. I would not tolerate that. I'm sorry. I don't tolerate that. Oh no. I know time is running. It's coming close to 10. Do you have any advice that you would like to give to us women, us young women?
There's something, again, men, don't get mad. I am just speaking because it's kind of true. But woman, when your man puts his phone screen down a lot, he has something to hide. I'm just saying. I'm not telling y'all to go search their phone, but I'm telling you that. Okay, when they're leaving the phone, they have something to hide. When they take the phone to the bathroom, to the garage, to the car, to the basement, to the laundry, they have something to hide. You know,
Angel, attends s'il vous plaît.
Oh, for God's
sake!
sake!
Calling after 9 o'clock is not just a girlfriend. Not just a girlfriend. And when I say girlfriend, I don't mean relationship-wise girlfriend. Like girlfriend, like she's a girl and she's my friend. Once they start be calling at 12 o'clock and 1 a.m., something happened. I ain't telling you not to do anything. I'm just telling you something happened. Okay. And when they be coming home from a long day of work and you want to embrace them and love on them and they keep telling you, just relax, girl, something happened. Something happened. Not that they're tired, because which man wouldn't want? Now I'm different.
Let me write these things down.
Running my man's bathwater. I'll be laying out his clothes. I'll make sure dinner's already cooked because you know when they come in they're real hungry, and I'll make sure his dinner's cooked and whatever. So there's no reason for complaints. So now I want to embrace you with my goodness. Why are you shoving me away? Because his belly is already full, and I don't mean with food. I'm telling y'all, it ain't no joke. I'm telling y'all.
Oh man!
And when you want to go out with him, and he tells you no, not this time. You know, when you know girls and everything's gonna be there, and then you ask him again, and next time and he goes, well, not this time either. It's because when he goes out, he wants to get entertained by somebody else. That's why he ain't gonna bring you.
Oh my God!
Because if he brings you, now you're gonna be like, why does she have to hug you? Or why does he have to go?
Oh my gosh!
They don't let
Oh
you
goodness!
It's the truth.
Any other ones?
Yeah.
Any other tip?
When he comes
I
home,
love the first one.
When he comes home, and he did not come from work. Say he said he's gonna go out on the road for a little bit and he comes back in and he goes straight into the shower. He don't say hi, no boo to nobody. He just goes straight in the shower and then he comes to your attention. But when he comes to your attention, he doesn't really want you to touch him really. He'll have a little conversation with you and then you see him gone on his phone and he's gone one side. Again, girls, his belly is full. I'm just telling you.
You need to write a book. You need to write a book. That's what you need to do. You need to write a book.
And when that man be giving you all those good stuff, you see, in the first time when they meet you and they be giving you everything and everything feels so golden, you're like, oh my God, I'm so in love with this guy. He's been doing everything. They're doing all of that in the beginning because they don't plan to last. And they do that until they get you to where they want you. And then slowly, Christine start getting what you used to get. So does Tiffany. And Michelle, and you remember the girl at the grocery store? I'm just joking.
You're doing good.
You're doing
good.
I'm telling you. I'm sorry, man, they're not going to like it. And girls, and I'm telling you, don't go searching your man's phone unless you feel like something is wrong. Okay? If he's sleeping with his phone underneath his pillow, I'm going to tell you the truth because I'm a woman too. He hiding something. He hiding something. He don't want you to see in his phone. Or he knows that when he falls asleep, you're going to search his phone.
But hold on, Angel. If you're going to look into... Hold on. If you're going to look into a man's phone, you've got to be able to accept what you are going to find because it's going to probably be very hurtful. And so you've got to make up your mind that I may find something that I really don't want to see or hear. No,
what I want to be finding in his phone is the last e-transfer that he just sent to me, or the grocery list, or some texts from his boys. They're gonna meet up, they're gonna link up, or something. But I don't want to see no girl saying good night, boo, good night, baby. Oh, talk to you tomorrow. That better be from sister, auntie, or cousin, or mama.
Angel.
No telling him no honey, no boo for no reason. Those conversations be getting real intense. And just so the record, you guys know, on WhatsApp, your man can delete the message. You know, if he writes something like, for example, the girl writes, hi, baby, and he writes, what's up, sexy? And then after that, he writes, like, what are you doing today? You know, he could delete the message before that says, what's up, sexy, and still leave the message that says, what you doing today? So it makes it look like that's what he wrote, and really he wrote sexy before that, and then wrote, what you doing today?
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Yes.
just so
Yes.
y'all know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It does. Before
I
you
didn't know
go,
that.
yes, yes, Melissa, yes, yes,
This
Melissa,
is
yes.
so entertaining.
Before you go, I'm Angel.
Yes.
Did you ever thought that social worker could have came in and took your kids away? Have you ever thought about that?
Of course, most definitely, all the time. And that was actually one of my biggest fears. You know, I've had my interactions with them, I'm not going to lie. And they knew, from they looked at me, they knew that I was a devoted mother. Yes, probably at the time I was very young and probably lost and confused. But if it all depends too, because when you're dealing with a woman social worker, they sometimes understand you a little more. It's how you deliver yourself. You know, when you come off rah 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 at them, they're gonna be like, oh no,
Yeah, not
you know,
good.
this is what it is.
Not
When you
good.
come off polite and you let them
Yeah.
know, which I had nothing to hide. I believe in the truth shall set you free. And yes, I was dealing with this situation. Was he abusing my children? Not in the sense of putting marks on them. That's like for a next kind of story. But I don't make that be, how would I put it, the vitamin to me that I'm gonna say I'm gonna step in or they're gonna take away my children. I'm gonna erase the fact that this stuff is still happening and been happening. I rather just let it be and explain. The kids can tell for themselves, because even if you as a parent tries to hide it and say, oh no, my child's not going through this and this and that, once they get your child one-on-one, they don't have mommy or daddy whispering there, should not tell them said this and this happened or whatever. The truth is gonna come out. So I always teach my people
Yes.
not to tell no lies. If this is what's hurting you, if this is what's damaging you, we'll tell them. And they should know the right to come to me and say, you know what, miss, you are wrong because the child has experienced this and this and that, and I think that you should have got this and this and help. I'm learning as I'm growing. Like, yes, I may be the age that I am. Yeah, I may look like a young mother. I am still learning and I'm still growing. And the fact of that, it doesn't stop there. Out when you're 60, 50 years old, you're still learning and you're still, you know, learning things about life.
2020, during all of the craziness happening during the
Who's that?
Have you ever thought about getting married someday?
Oh, yes.
All right.
We'll
Yes.
see. Well, that might be the next story on your platform, you know.
Okay. Okay.
You know.
Okay.
We will love you. We will love you to come back and let us
Yes,
know
definitely.
how you are
Of course.
progressing. How you're
Of
progressing.
course.
Before we close off, I would really, really like to see you come back and talk about your daughter. You know, you get some professional help for her.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm really concerned about her. Because you know, you grew up, you're strong, you know, yourself need help too, but your daughter, she really needs help. So hopefully after our show, you think about it and get her some real help. And she needs it. She needs professional help. You know, she needs it. I'm so sorry that her father's not in her life, because you know all little girls, you know, we want daddy around. You know, we usually wrap daddy around our little fingers. We need candies. Daddy buy candies for us. Mommy will not. Mom say, eat your meals.
And
Daddy will
that's the
say, I
thing.
give you candy.
Like, yes, that is wanted. You know, you would want a father to be there for his daughter. You would want them to be there for the son. But then you still have to look at the bigger picture, as in that man that you are going to place back into these children's life. Do you know what the outcome will be after all of that?
Angel, he needs help as if yesterday.
Oh yeah.
No joke about it.
You
He
probably
needs
would never do
help
that.
It's true.
as if yesterday. He needs help. So,
but does he believe he needs help?
that's
No.
it too.
They can't get help unless they know that they admit that they want help.
Like I said, if we were to come in front of him today, he would be like, oh, it's her, and she did, and she did, and that did, and that did, and she did.
They like to put a
the point of
blame.
it is,
Yes, the blame game.
They like to put blames on
Yeah, the
women.
blame game.
But
That's what
like
it
I
is.
said, when
They
I
like
came
to
on this
blame.
platform, I'm not
You
trying to
see,
paint a picture of a malicious person.
account-
I'm telling my
accountability,
story. Yeah.
accountability.
Hmm.
Sometimes us as human, we do not want to take accountability for our
Amen. That
mistakes.
is so true. Hmm.
And that's what breaks up relationship a lot.
Ah,
Accountability,
yes,
honesty,
Hmm.
honesty, communication.
yes.
We need that in our relationship.
Yep.
Without those, the relationship is doomed.
Zilch. Zilch.
Trust, trust is very important in relationships too. Also, you can't.
Once the trust is
That
gone, there's nothing, and I say that's the
There's
death
nothing
of
left.
everything.
yeah,
There's
that's the key.
no way
Absolutely nothing left.
a relationship will
Nothing,
succeed and
nothing,
there's no
nothing.
trust, because the trust will make you doubt everything that a man does,
Everything.
and the
Yes,
trust
Attitude.
will
yes.
make you doubt everything that a woman will do.
Yeah.
So, sorry, without that trust, it's just know that that relationship is literally for the moment, and then it's gone.
And then it's gone. Yeah.
So hopefully, everything that we talk and what you're saying is so true that people will be bashing you, but you don't worry what people got to say. You worry about yourself and your 5 children that God gave you.
Oh yes.
That's
Because
what
they're a
it is.
blessing. They are a blessing.
Right. You don't focus on what people are going to say about you. People free to say what they want to say, but we as human beings, we do not take on that extra stress. You block that out.
Yeah.
It's easy. Yeah, try to block what people say.
Definitely.
You try to say that you think, but we to say. It's hard to do. Excuse me. It's hard to do for some people. It's easy to say, but hard to do for some
Hard to
people.
do. Yeah.
Yes. So, well, guys, well, audience, well,
Thank you guys
everyone.
for having me.
Thank you
Yes,
so much, Angel, for coming on. We appreciate you.
And now
We really
listen,
appreciate you.
thank you,
And your
guys.
ladies,
story,
please
very
don't go be searching
sad but
for clothes tonight.
entertaining.
Don't do it tonight. Wait until Friday.
You need to come back again.
Don't go
Okay, we
searching for
talk
clothes
to you.
tonight. Yeah, I will. No problem.
Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you, Angel. You're such a darling.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
sharing
Bye
your
now.
stories. You teach us
Yes,
a lot
yes,
tonight. And I'm gonna post up the video on live. You
yes.
guys on IG. You guys could share it. And please,
Share it, guys. Share the video when it goes up.
and love you guys. Be safe. God bless.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.